Greetings and salivations, everyone. I'm Krista, this is Fisher, and welcome to C-Rad. Today we're going to modify a Jawa Galactic Pal, and we're going to make his eyes glow, so stay tuned.
C-Rad.
Hi, everybody!
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome. We hope everyone's doing totally rad today. When the Galactic Pals first came out, we reviewed the little Jawa dude along with all the other ones. And somebody said, and I thought too, wouldn't it be cool if the eyes lit up on the Jawa, like, you know, the Jawa's eyes glow. So I know Diane from the Happy Feets was able to do hers, but I never asked her how she did it. So I came up with a way that's hopefully going to work. We're going to take him apart, put the lights inside him, and hopefully make his eyes light up. So Fisher, I'm going to set you to the side for a little bit. Are you good with that?
I'm good with that.
Alright, little dude. Boop. We will see you in a little bit. So the first thing we got to do with this little guy is his hood does not come off very easy, but it is attached just by a thread here at the front. So we are going to undo that thread, take his hood off so we can get his head off. So in order to get that little thread off, I did grab my seam ripper. If you don't have one, using a small pair of scissors will work as well. But if you look inside, it's held together by a thread there, and that kind of sews all the way through on him. So I'm just gonna kind of go in between the folds there, get my seam ripper in there, pull that one little thread, and yep, the whole thing pops off when you do that. So it's attached by just one single thread. Now in theory, we should now be able to take his hood down with very little issue. You still do have to kind of work it around his head a little bit. He's got a big head there, but hey, if you ever wondered, this is what a Jawa looks like underneath its hood. So super adorable. Now, so that this doesn't keep popping up on him, I am going to remove his robe completely so he's a lot easier to work with. And if you ever wondered what a Jawa looked like underneath his robe, there he is, no surprise. Just a plushy brown body and his wrapped up little Jawa head. But yep, dude, we're gonna have to take your head off. Yes, have to take the head off. Now these are attached just like the heads on the Grogu dolls. They have a zip tie that keeps the head onto the plush body. And one thing I found with these, the zip ties on the Galactic Pals when I did the Wookiee one, was a lot easier to get off than the ones on the Grogu dolls. The actual plush part of the body pulls aside a lot better, allowing you to get your scissors or whatever cutting tool you're using in there, and then you should just be able to snip it and it should pop right off. And yep, came right off there, guys. So when you get the head off, he does have a plastic ring just like the Grogu doll. Now you can remove that plastic ring. They are glued in there, so you'll have to get something where you can grab it and pry it off if you want to do that. It's not that much of a bigger hole than what's in there already, so I'm actually going to leave it on. The lights that we're going to be putting inside him are just simple fairy lights. So that wire, I'll be able to thread it through that hole. I'm not attaching it into his head anyway. So yeah, hopefully that will work out the way that I want it to. I'm using just a single set of fairy lights, and it does have where it requires the 3 AAA batteries. And this is going to stick out of the back of his head, and we're going to kind of just leave it there behind his hood. But before I put them in there, I am going to put the batteries in to make sure that this set of fairy lights works. This is one I haven't used before. So let's see, how do we open the fairy lights? Do they work? Yep, my fairy lights work very, very well there. Glowing, so hopefully this will work when it's inside the head. I'm actually going to turn it off for now. We are going to find the end of the fairy lights. These are always fun because they kind of tangle them up and it's like, where does it begin? Where does it end? So there we go, coming apart here. Where is the end? This is a extremely long string of fairy lights, but I'm hoping they put off enough of a glow to go through those yellow eyes on the Jawa. So just going to actually just start by putting the first light in, and we are going to thread all of the fairy lights into the head of the Jawa. And then once all of the lights are in there, you have this little cord that has the battery pack on it. You can go ahead and shove some of that in there as well, because you just want just a little tiny bit that's going to stick out of his head that you can put just behind his head underneath his hood. So next thing we have to do, and before I turn the lights on and try it out, we are going to put the head back onto the body. Now, of course, I cut the zip tie that was with it, so you are going to need a replacement zip tie. As I mentioned in my video the other day where I did the body on the Grogu, I always have a little backup supply of zip ties, and it is just going to go into the little channel there, slide all around till it comes out. This one's long enough that I can even start it ahead of time. And that way we can just put the head back on the little dude. And then on the head, you'll see there is a channel around there. That's where the zip tie is going to sit in when you zip it back up. So we're going to make sure that the battery box is in the back of his head. You don't want it in the front. We're going to make sure the zip tie is in the channel. It's a little heavy with the battery pack there. And then you're just going to pull the zip tie closed just a little bit at a time. You don't want to go too much too fast, because if you're not in the channel and you have to adjust things, you'll have a little bit more problem, and then you'll just have to use another zip tie. But looks like we're good there. And his head is back on. So just going to snip that off right there so I don't have this big long piece hanging. Just grab a pair of scissors. Make sure not to cut the cord on your fairy lights, but snip that off. Perfect. And now we have a Jawa with lights in his head, which hopefully is going to make his eyes glow. So we're going to turn it on here just to see how he works. Got the batteries. Okay, so his eyes are glowing, but his head is glowing too. I had a feeling that might be part of the problem with the Jawa head, but let's put his robe on and see how it looks, because that's probably going to cover up a lot of that lighting. But the eyes are glowing, guys. And I will turn the lights off here in a little bit just so we can see that. But let me put his robe back on first and we'll go from there. So we've got the robe back on him, and then for the battery pack, I'm just going to stick it right here behind his head so that when the robe is pulled up, it's going to hold that battery pack into place. I am going to turn it on while I do that, just so I don't have to take it off again to turn it back on. But yeah, you will have to put the robe up and down in order to get the lights to turn on and off. And to get his hood on and off, you do have to work it a little bit to get it around his head, but get you back on there, pull your robe down so it looks right. And his face is glowing. The eyes aren't, but I have a fix for that, so hopefully that'll work. But there he is. Let's turn the lights off so we can see if his eyes are actually glowing. Whew, alright, so we've got glowy eyes, but we have a completely glowy head. So definitely not the look I was going for, guys. So we're going to paint him black so that it blacks out the rest of the light, and then hopefully it just glows through the eyes. So I've got the black paint and I've got some soft brushes. I find that they work the best with the Galactic Pals, and I just have some down here in my little tray. And I'm just going to paint a little bit on him now so we can see if my theory works. Pretty sure we're just going to be blacking out those lights. Oh yeah, that works super well, guys. So normally I would put tape over the eyes, which I'll do when I get closer to that and finish that, but I'm not going to do it for this video. I just wanted to test the theory that painting him with black will help you know, kind of diffuse that light coming through. So let me finish painting him here real quick, and then we will test his eyes out. Well guys, we've got the paint on him. As you can see, it's still drying. I am gonna have to wait till it dries a little bit more to take his robe off so that I can actually get down into some of those nooks and crannies. But I am gonna have to do another layer of paint on him. Let me turn the lights off real quick so you can see it's still kind of shining through. So still shining through the black a little bit, but that's because the actual pattern on this guy has a lot of little fine lines in it. So it is going to take a 2 or 3 layers of paint to be able to kind of cover all that up. But look guys, his eyes are glowing really, really good. I love it. So gonna have to wait for him to dry a little bit. That's what his glow looks like before I painted him. And that's what it is now. So the paint is definitely helping on that. And he's got some little glowy eyes. But again, gonna have to do some more layers. I gotta kind of wait for it to dry in between. And when I get it completely finished, guys, I will put a picture of him and maybe a short little video of him on our Instagram. And maybe I'll do an update at the end of one of our videos later in the week. But it's doable. We got the glowy eyes. I think it's awesome. Again, don't want to get paint on his robe, so I will be taking that off to finish him up. But yeah, I love it. What do you guys think? What would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see how he turns out after all of his painting is done. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you enjoyed it, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more awesome and totally rad things in the future, please subscribe to our channel and turn that notification bell on so you don't miss seeing us. And I guess there's only one thing left to say, right, little dude? We'll see ya later. Just a quick update, guys. 2 layers of paint seems to have done the trick. Yeah, I know, I got the light in back of me here, but you can see his eyes glowing. He is now, the back of his head has a few little spots that are showing through, but that's not going to matter when his robe is on. So yeah, stay tuned. As soon as he's dry, I will put a picture on the Instagram of what he looks like.